Ooh, what's going on, guys? It's Horse Beef here, and I'm trying to break down UFC 307, which took place last night. Now, it might have been the weirdest card I've seen in a long time. Not really because of the fights or the way the fights turned out, but because of the judging. This card may actually go down as having the worst judging in the history of any event. Like, if you go fight by fight, this card, I would bet, probably has the most robberies of any card of all time. I want to go over that, so I'm gonna just quickly break down every fight on the card, and then get more in depth for the fights that I feel are deserving of being broken down more so. Court McGee versus Tim Means. I actually didn't catch the fight, watched the highlights. I picked Tim Means, but first round submission for Court McGee. Beautiful. Both guys are veterans, in the sport, in the organization for 10 plus years now. So whichever guy losing was just a shame to see. I respect these veterans, but yeah, great win for Court McGee. Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington. I did watch this fight. This is the first fight of the night that I caught, and I feel like there was some disingenuous commentary going on, especially from Joe Rogan, talking about, I feel she got robbed and all this shit just because she made him emotional during her post-fight press conference. Like, I understand it's her retirement fight. Maybe the judges should have been a little bit more lenient with her and just given her the win. But at the same time, Tisha did enough to win the fight. In my opinion, it was close, right? If Carla had been given the decision, I wouldn't have been surprised. But watching it live, I had scored the fight for Tisha. So, but when I saw 30-27, I wasn't too sure about that. But yeah, the judging was terrible. Although, yeah, some people are calling this one a robbery. I don't exactly agree that it was a robbery. But could it have gone to Carla Esparza? Absolutely. Then we get into Ryan Spann versus Ovince St. Preux. Great performance, dude. Ryan Spann has some of the best hands at 205. Put on a great performance. Pieced up Ovince St. Preux and then choked him out with ease. Pretty simple win for Ryan Superman Spann. Then we get into the prelims. We get another weird fight. Cesar Almeida versus Potieria, I suppose. And this is a weird one because did Cesar Almeida deserve to win the decision? Probably. But at the same time, he fouled Ihor so many times. I think it was like 3 eye pokes and a groin strike, and there was not a single point taken. I was very surprised, and I don't just say that because I picked Ihor to win. I don't really care. Picks are just picks. I don't really care about it. But yes, surely Almeida should have had at least a point deducted at some point to even it out because he was fouling quite a bit. He was constantly warned about his fingers and still kept putting them out there. And yeah, I don't understand the officiating in that fight to not take a point, but still, considering there was no point deduction, a deserving win for Cesar Almeida. And then we get into Austin Hubbard and Alexander Hernandez. And this was a pretty good fight, man. It was a banger. Austin Hubbard fought well, but it seemed like after the fight, once again, the crowd was convinced that it was a robbery, which I don't really understand because Austin Hubbard had a great third round, landed some beautiful combinations. There was one that comes to mind where he landed a few hooks around the guard and then finished it off with a spinning back kick to the body that landed pretty flush. Beautiful combination. But you can't really say that Austin Hubbard was robbed because he had a great third round, right? He ended the fight off beautifully. And yes, Alexander Hernandez was showing more damage on the face, but you can absolutely give Alexander Hernandez rounds 1 and 2 any day of the week. So to call this one a robbery, I think is disingenuous. But it was close, although I personally thought that Hubbard needed a finish going into the third. But yeah, Hernandez got the win, in my opinion, deservingly so. And then we get into Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lucindu. Weird fight, really weird fight. Yasmin was doing some cheap tactics, digging the chin into the eye of Marina Rodriguez. And for me, when watching the fight live, I was thinking that even though I picked Yasmin to win, I was thinking that Marina had probably done enough. I thought she had done more damage on the feet, and Yasmin really wasn't getting a lot off on the ground when it was there. So I don't know. I'm not too sure if this one is exactly a robbery, but it also wasn't really a clear-cut decision for Yasmin. It could have easily gone to Rodriguez. So I would say another weird decision here. Decent fight at times. Yasmin Lucindu is actually quite entertaining to watch. She does pull out some very interesting techniques, and she gets pretty creative in there, mixes the martial arts pretty well. And she's only 22 as well, and has had I think 22 fights to go along with that. So that's just insane, man. This Yasmin Lucindu girl, she's probably going places, although she did cheat with the chin to the eye, and it seemed pretty deliberate, man. So I do have to take some points away for that. But it was a relatively enjoyable fight to watch. And then we get into, oh man, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. Now, for me, Stephen Thompson was winning the fight. I had him up on the scorecards. I thought he won rounds 1 and 2. I don't think what Joaquin Buckley did on the ground was nearly enough. He did land some pretty good shots, but Wonderboy was just so much faster, man, catching him, coming in every single time with straight shots, beautiful head kicks as well. And then Joaquin Buckley turned on prime Mike Tyson mode, some peekaboo, slips a couple of shots, and then comes in with probably the biggest right hook you'll ever see in your entire life, threw his entire body into it, leapt off the ground as he threw it, and knocked out Stephen Thompson pretty bad, man. That just sucks to see, just considering his age as well. Hoping that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson can recover from that and maybe like get a fight against MVP, but at this point, man, that's such a bad loss at this stage of his career. I'm just hoping we don't see a major decline from him, because he looked so good up until the knockout. And of course, I picked Thompson, so another pick that went against me. But yeah, credit to Buckley, man. That was one hell of a punch to find. One hell of a punch to find. Then we get into the main card here. Kayla Harrison versus Ketlen Vieira. Yeah, Ketlen Vieira, I think, held up pretty well. But at this point, man, like, when I think about it, dude, I mean, I don't even have to really think about it much. Amanda Nunes would make Kayla Harrison look like an amateur on the feet and probably KO her. She's so stiff and just not good at all in the stand-up. Yeah, she's very physically strong and can dominate these ladies like with relative ease. When she gets it there, but she's just not very impressive, and she has to be on steroids, right? There's no possible way that Kayla Harrison is not on steroids. I've never seen a woman built like that while being natural. There's just no possible way, but I digress. Okay fight, I guess, but yeah, Kayla Harrison, I'm not overly impressed. Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. Now, this was another weird fight. I think Kevin Holland sustained a rib injury, I believe it was. It looked pretty painful. And yeah, I picked Dolidze, so I guess I was right there. But then Dolidze was awarded a black belt after this one, which is interesting. Strange time to be giving out a black belt, but it is what it is. I suppose he earned it. Okay. And then we get into Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista. Now, Mario Batista, I think, lost a lot of people on this night. He did not deserve to win that fight whatsoever. There's a case for 30-27 Jose Aldo, but at the very, very least is 29-28 Aldo. He took rounds 2 and 3 100%, piecing up Mario Batista, did all the damage, right? And this fight was kind of the way I feel like some people were describing Merab versus Sean O'Malley as. That's not what happened in that fight, right? Merab was taking down Sean O'Malley and landing ground and pound. Mario Batista was holding Jose Aldo against the fence because he couldn't get him down and doing nothing, just like Merab did, except Jose Aldo was piecing him up on the feet and having all this success, right? His boxing looked incredible. He looked like vintage Aldo again, just without the leg kicks. And unfortunately, we now have to deal with Mario Batista getting a ranked opponent while Jose Aldo gets iced out of out of the UFC, essentially, because this, I believe, was just a complete slight to Jose Aldo, because I would be much more excited for the prospects of Aldo as a title challenger than Mario Batista. So this is a total shame. What a robbery, man. If I was Aldo, I would be appealing this decision, because to me, it makes no sense. Jose Aldo was robbed. It's an egregious robbery. It really was, and this isn't just because I'm a fan of Jose Aldo. Watch the fight again and tell me that Jose lost a fight. No, he did not lose a fight. Co-main event, Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena for the women's bantamweight title. Now, I had Raquel Pennington winning by the end of this one. I don't understand how you really give this one to Pena. Pena really didn't do a whole lot in the feet. Yeah, she had success on the ground, but on the feet, Pennington had the big moments, and I think she fully deserved that win. I don't think it really makes sense to give Pena this win. She sucks. She's probably the least skilled champion maybe we've ever had in the UFC, so it's just weird to see her with the strap. I don't think that she earned it here. Pennington, I believe, did a lot more on the feet, dropped her, I think it was in round 4, and then I believe clearly won round 5 as well to go along with it, and probably round 1 as well. So I guess the more I think about it, yeah, maybe you can score 3 rounds for Pena, but at the same time, this is another fight that I think was very questionable with the result. It seems like Pena runs her mouth more, so the UFC just preferred for her to. I don't understand it really, man. But for me, Raquel Pennington, once again, was robbed. And then we get into the main event, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. And what a fucking war between these two. This fight was so much better than I expected it to be. I did expect Khalil to maybe give him some problems on the feet, but he looked so good. Probably won rounds 1 and 2 as well. He was landing the left hand, right hook, left hand combination over and over and over again on Pereira. And Pereira, I think, showed great toughness as well as Khalil. Like, I think a lot of people are giving Khalil so much credit, which makes sense, right? He took an absolute beating like a champ, was standing his ground, throwing back against Alex Pereira until his body just couldn't take it anymore. And really, that's what it came down to. Right, Khalil wanted to keep going, but his body just couldn't, and you cannot fault a man for that. He fought his ass off. He really did. He fought his ass off. So credit to Khalil Roundtree. What a fighter. And I think his stock goes up more than really any fighter after a loss after this one, because he stood there and proved that he could give Alex Pereira more problems than any other 205er, especially on the feet. Ankalaev can give him issues maybe in other areas, but after this one, I'm a bit more worried about Pereira's chances against Ankalaev, because Ankalaev's a great striker. He's a very, very polished striker. So I think he can give Pereira problems in all areas, but Pereira is just so good, man. Everyone who acts like he's a power merchant, I don't think has any idea what they're talking about, because this dude broke down Khalil Roundtree, went in there with a game plan, wasn't fishing for or hunting for the knockout early on. He's chewing up the legs, landing good body shots as well, and just breaking down Khalil Roundtree. And that jab was just brutal, man. Landing it at will, so much power behind it. Alex Pereira's the man. He is the man. 100%. Does he deserve to go pound for pound number 1 after this performance? Maybe not, because he just beat number 8 ranked guy. But then again, he's done it across multiple weight classes, unlike Islam. But I still do think that Islam's resume right now is just more impressive. So I don't think he would maybe deserve to go up to pound for pound number 1 yet. But he's making the case for himself at the very least. And wow, man, what a fight that was. And the card overall, it was okay. But I feel like the quality of some of the fights is overshadowed by the absolutely terrible judging in this one. Honestly, I don't think I'm being too much when I say that this is the card with the worst judging of all time. If there is a card that comes to mind worse than this one, please let me know in the comments, because right now I'm convinced that this is by far the worst card when it comes to judging. Just blew my mind, and just another reason to believe that the UFC is on the decline here. Just a really, really bad showing for the judges, man. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on the fight, on the card overall. Might do a follow-up video depending on what transpires as a result of this card. But then again, those are my thoughts on the fights. Congratulations to Alex Pereira, and also congratulations to Khalil Roundtree for showing that he's an absolute warrior. Yeah, I will support him in every one of his fights going forward, and he 100% belongs at the top of the division, and proved that he wasn't just given a title shot, and he 100% deserved to be in there with Alex Pereira. Gave him the toughest fight of his career. I would say he even gave him a tougher fight than Izzy when Izzy knocked him out, because yeah, Izzy got the flash KO, but Khalil gave him serious problems. So all the respect in the world. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.